Scorpio.
Hello Scorpio, this is your forecast for September 2015, and this seems to come to turn out to become a very social month for you because I'm seeing a lot of people, new groups of people around you, new friends perhaps to be made. There's an outreach, there's an expansion, there might be some organizations too coming into your life on some level. What you make of it is going to be up to you, but see now, not only do you have the sun in the 11th house for groups and organizations, new friends, social activities and so forth, you also have the new moon, and then you have Jupiter. Now let's talk about Jupiter. You've been expanding a whole lot, and I feel all last year there, 2014 into this summer here, you've taken upon something humongous. Think about Jupiter, the size of Jupiter. You've expanded, you've shown your skills. Now Jupiter is shifting. It's moved into your 11th house. So new responsibilities may be coming your way where you are now addressing, should I say, rather than the projects itself, you might be addressing some groups, which is the 11th house. Now you have a whole year between now and the end of the summer of 2016 to figure out how you can utilize this for the best resources for new foundations, because it's going to be 12 years before you get this opportunity again. So I'm feeling you're taking it one step further, should I say, to a higher level, I'm sorry. And it being in the sign of Virgo, well, Virgo is always wanting to improve things. And so when Jupiter is here, you're kind of thinking, how can I improve? How can I organize? How can I strategize? So yeah, it should be quite exciting, and it's starting. This new 12-year cycle is starting this month with the sun kicking it off, and also with the new moon. Now the new moon is going to be there on the 13th. It is going to occur 20 degrees in Virgo. So for those of you who have any other planets 20 degrees in your chart, the new moon will ricochet off of them and cause ripples throughout your chart. It's a nice new moon to have, and once again, it's got the Virgo quality to it, wanting to get things perfect, get things straight. That's what Virgo does. And Virgo, of course, is very health oriented too, so your intentions might just be, how can I perfect what I'm doing? How can I perfect my diets, my health, and so forth? And it's also going to be something that you're going to be carrying for the whole entire year. It's not just this month, but the new moon will come back into this area sometime next summer. So it's going to influence this whole coming year. Now Scorpio, Mercury is going retrograde this month, and that will take place there sometime around the 17th, depending on your time zone, and it's retrograding in the sign of Libra. This falls into your 12th house, and the 12th house is all about your subconsciousness. It's where we revert inwardly to our inner self so we can recharge our batteries. Mercury will be going back over things of the past too, and since it's 12th house related, it might be you kind of figuring out where does the balance go. Where have you been giving too much energy out? Where has it been too little? So you're finding the perfect balance between the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, which is the 12th. So I think for you right now, this could be a good place to have it. Sometimes we see delays and whatnot take place when we have Mercury retrograde, but it shouldn't really affect it too bad since it is the 12th house. Now Saturn, I think you will be happy to hear that it is leaving your first house. First time now, forever, for the next 28 years. It's been in the sign of Scorpio. That is your sun sign. It's your first house. It's your personality. It's how you give out to others. It's also responsibilities. So you might have felt there's been a lot of responsibilities on your plate. So where you're going to see now is Saturn's going to move into your second house of income and your financial values. Now, as it was in your first house, you might have felt that due to the responsibilities upon you, it restricted you a little bit as far as coming out with your personality, because you had to focus on work, and it was making you more serious-minded, which Saturn also does. Now, in the second house, by the same token, some of you might come to experience throughout this passage, not saying throughout the whole 3 years, but in this passage you might feel that your income might take a cut back or be restricted somewhat for whatever circumstance. That's what Saturn does, it restricts, but it also creates new consciousness about how to master the area of your financial situation. Say if you've had a great, say, a flow of money coming in and you were throwing it just as quickly out, well, then Saturn here is going to help you look at it, take care of it, and situate it, and so that you can come to grow it. Because actually what it's doing, it's having you look at the ground level of your financial situation. And you're laying down this foundation in these 3 years that it's going to be there, 2.5 to 3 years. And that foundation is where you're going to spring from over the next 28 years. So you want to make sure that under this time that you look at the best possibilities to grow it. And it's not really a heavy place for Saturn to be, because it is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter ruled. And so Jupiter likes to expand, right? And Saturn's coming in saying you have to be a little realistic right now. Okay, we're going to be realistic. So there's kind of like this push-pull, but in that pulse you're going to find a good place, I feel, 3 years from now when it's all said and done. Pluto's still in your third house. That's communication. I feel there's a lot of transformation taking place in this area for you. Some of you are coming into your power, your full power of speech, which is that third house. Presentations, teaching, and so forth, coming across to other people with very point-specific information. That's what Pluto does, it targets. And you're good at this. So we're going to see now here by the end of this month, Pluto, which has been retrograde for several months now, is going to move direct by the 27th of September. You're going to see how Pluto's going to pick up and will be supporting you in this area. So that's beautiful. That is really nice. When it comes to love and relationship, Neptune in your 5th house, yes, it is a beautiful place to have it. It makes you feel a little airy-fairy dreamy. It's going to be here, has been here for a couple of years already. So it's kind of starting to really filter into your consciousness, Scorpio. And it being in the sign of Pisces, which it rules, right now it's retrograding, so you might just feel how you're growing with heightened sense of intuition, heightened sense of attunement with your partner. It's also the area of your creativity, the artist self of you, and you might just feel too that this is a growing field where you want to start finding the time, and I think that's the greatest challenge, is to find the time to be able to express these talents that you have as God's given gift to you. So yes, you want to focus and at least remind yourself, you still have several years here under this passage, and it all depends, of course, on the transits that we have, which may come forward and kind of trigger it and initiate it. So 6th house here this month for you, you have the full moon there. This will take place later in the month, 27th to be correct, 4 degrees in Aries. And so for you, the illumination of this full moon is going to try to cast light on to what is it you need to do to get onto a better, perhaps, routine, your day-to-day routine. Are you eating healthy enough? Are you eating enough at all? Or are you eating too much? That kind of thing. So especially here when it's going to pass by Uranus within the first 24 hours, that will also bring some kind of an epiphany or an awakening, shine some light onto this area that this is what I can do to create better health. Okay, so whatever that may be for you, only you will know when you get there. 27th. Mars and Venus, they're conjunct. We're starting off top of the month there. Venus being love and romance, and Mars being all the energy that goes into it. For those of you in a relationship, this is a date to put on your calendar, September 1st. And for those of you single, you might come to meet that somebody special here today. And where would be the most likely place for you to meet somebody? It would be within your area of career. It's showing up in the 10th house. So pay attention. Maybe there's some new people coming to town within your business. Maybe that could be it. But being in the 10th house, having these two energies going there, goes to show that you might be initiating something new. It could be a new project, it could be a new job, whatever it is. I'm seeing you're breathing all this love and inspiration into it. It's Venus, right? And Mars is your drive and your goals, and both of them being in the sign of Leo, how can you not feel it? It's coming from the heart. I feel that you are convinced here that this is not just a good day, but a new beginning of whatever it is. Could be a new project. They're both 14 degrees, if you would want to know, 14 degrees in Leo. So if you have any other planets at 14 degrees, do know that this Venus-Mars will be ricocheting off of them and triggering the other aspects in your chart, the other houses, lighting them up like Christmas trees. We have on the 8th, we have Mars and Uranus. Mars being in the 10th house of career, Uranus being in that 6th house of co-workers. So here, having a trine is always, one of the best aspects we can have. So something unexpected, maybe surprising coming in, but this would be perhaps with a co-worker in the area of career. Maybe a new project might be presented, or maybe perhaps you can get a promotion. So you'll have to wait and see, but this is a nice one. The second surprise Uranus is going to spring on you, same area, from your co-workers or your day-to-day life and routine, is to Venus. Now this is coming a little later there on the 22nd. And so both these days should be good for nice surprises, the 8th and the 22nd. So write that down in your notebook. Though, now listen, there is a small challenge. It has to do with communication this month, and it's starting off there on the 9th. And so why is that, and what is that? Mercury will be squaring off on Pluto. Mercury is communication. It's your linear thought processing. Pluto is all about transformation, its power, its intensity, how we feel. And they're kind of like coming up against each other. However, though, doesn't have to be a negative. A little uncomfortable. Squares are always felt because they create a little stress. However, though, this square is allowing to bring things into consciousness, and for you, that Mercury is your 12th house, Pluto's your 3rd house. So communication in both areas, because yes, you have Pluto in the 3rd house, which rules communication, squaring against Mercury, which is communication. So I think what it is for you is balancing the 12th house of your subconscious thoughts, where you're thinking you need to go with a certain direction, and where Pluto is coming from in the more objective field, or should I say more in the conscious field, which is the 3rd house. The 12th house is more subconscious. So you might just feel, how do I adjust these two things, right? But see it as a blessing. You don't have to have your resolve right there, right then, on that day. Because here on the 24th, you're going to have a second chance. And this is because Mercury will go retrograde there on the 17th, straight through October 9th. And so when it retrogrades, it's going to come back to that same degree which created the square on Pluto, with Pluto. And it's going to be met up with the square of Mars-Saturn. So Saturn's going to say, but this is what I want. This is my direction. And Saturn's coming in saying, yes, it is, and how much do you really want it? Because now is the time to, what? Express it. It is Mercury, right? And Mercury and Pluto here. So there's something here that you really need to bring to the forefront. And both Mars and Saturn are helping you to really put your heels deep down into the ground and say, yes, I do want this. Because if we didn't have that second square of Mars and Saturn, you could have easily just allowed this one window of opportunity, which squares are. They are windows of opportunity. And how often don't we get that? Challenges come and go all the time. Sometimes we take them on, sometimes we just let them slide. But for right now, I feel this one is so important that Mars and Saturn are lining up, asking you to look at this, and you will, because it's really bringing it up to that conscious level. So that's the 24th, 25th, and I believe that by then you should have the resolution or the answer that you were kind of seeking there on the 9th, when you were questioning yourself, how is this going to go, right? So, and in the meanwhile, you have some beautiful, good aspects taking place. You have that Venus and Uranus trine on the 22nd, the Sun and Saturn coming together there with a sextile on the 23rd, and this is all before that second passage of Mercury and Pluto comes in, which will allow you to feel good about yourself. You're feeling great, in fact. Your self-confidence is good. You know that you're being appreciated for what you're doing at work, you know, the 6th and 10th house. So all that is feeling good. So I'm thinking it has more to do with, okay, how do I now take my knowledge and present it? Okay, because it's 3rd house communication, it's Pluto. And of course, if this is a new field, for those of you starting something new, well, that in itself can create a little insecurity, right? Because we haven't got the day-to-day routine down yet. But you're having all the support from your 6th house, which is your routine. So I'm thinking it's just a minor adjustment. I just want to spend a little time on it because I know you're going to come to feel it. I want you to know why it's there, where it's coming from, and that yes, even this shall pass. So for those of you listening to this early on, before these dates, you might want to re-listen when you get closer to the end of the month. Go back and listen to it again, because then you'll be recognizing it. And I think that is how it is with all readings. When we listen to a reading first, our conscious mind is listening to those things that we recognize, what resonates right here and now. And then everything else kind of just slips into this subconsciousness. But when we listen to readings, say several weeks later, or go back to last month, that's when we can see in retrospect and go, oh my God, yes, that did happen, that did come in. Wasn't paying attention first time I listened to it, but now I see it, feel it. So for that reason too, it's always good to maybe go back every once in a while and listen to the past month's reading. So what else do we have here? There is a few events. Venus has been going retrograde all August in Leo, and it is going to be moving direct again here on the 6th or 7th, depending on which time zone you're in. We have Mercury retrograde, as mentioned, going retrograde 17th through that of October 9th. Saturn now having left Scorpio into Sagittarius on September 17th. Adios for 28 years, right? And Mars will be moving out of Leo, out of your 10th house on September 25th. So up till the 25th, you will have Venus and Mars both supporting you in your career, giving you the love, the drive, the ambition, you thriving within your area. And then it's going to move into the 11th house, 25th, where Mars now is going to focus more on the group and the organization, and also allowing you to be a little bit more social. And it will be meeting up there also with Jupiter. More on that next month because that belongs to October. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe now so you can get October's reading in your inbox. And we will see how that Mars and Jupiter is going to expand things for you October onwards. So this is what I have for you here, Scorpio. I want to thank you for listening, and also listening and following to the tarot readings I give, as that gives extra different type of information for what you can expect now. September. I'll see you next month. Have a good one now.